Hey folks, this is Silas from GNAT News. Today I'm in Rupert. Am I in Rupert?
You're in beautiful East Rupert, Vermont.
And I'm with Forester Alan Calfee. And you may remember him from the last one we did with the emerald ash borer. Today it's a slightly different thing. We're going to be talking about this thing called current use. Alan, what is current use? Why did they invent that title?
Well, current use is a name for a program called the Use Value Appraisal Program in Vermont. And it was put in place by the legislature in 1979 in the middle of a big land boom in Vermont where there was a lot of development going on.
I remember that as a kid.
Kind of Vermont was, in a way, was really discovered, and a lot of people came here to build second homes.
And they thought that trend would just keep continuing, where we just get more and more people moving to the state.
Yeah. There was a concern that a lot of the important forest land and the values that come with that forest land and important agricultural lands would get subdivided up and not be usable for those uses. So they wanted to come up with a program, and many states actually have a similar program. If you were in your kind of long-term plan, you were thinking that really you were going to keep that land as forest land or as agricultural land, the current use program really provides a mechanism to save you some substantial money on your property tax bill. Yeah.
Do we have any sense of, if you were in the program, how your average tax bill would change?
The statewide average in savings is about 80%.
If you lived in Rupert and owned land, how would that affect your tax bill really quick?
Sure. And again, minimum of 25 acres to enroll in the program. And for example, on this property, for forest land, the town of Rupert has the land assessed at around $2,000 an acre.
Gotcha.
If you have your plan and have your map and don't develop or subdivide according to the rules of the program, then that rate would be adjusted to $135 an acre. For forest land, and I think it's $326 for ag land.
So my tax bill per acre for value drops from $2,000 an acre down to $136.
Yeah, and that's what's important to understand. So that $2,000 an acre is called the highest and best value.
Okay.
So that really represents the value of that land for subdivision and development. If you're a landowner and you want to keep that land as forest land, why should you be paying taxes based on a rate for highest and best use, which is subdivision and development? The basic point of the program is to bring the value of your land, your assessment, down to what's called the use value for either forest or agricultural purposes.
Okay. Really quickly break down, how do I get in this program? What happens?
Okay.
What is that thing there?
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I like to tell people that there are strings attached to the program. And when you enroll in the program, the application deadline is September 1st every year, no extensions. The first thing that happens when you enroll in the program, and let's just talk about the forest land category. How about that, Haas?
Because there's two things. There's ag.
There's an ag program, and there's a forest land program. General thing I would say for people to understand about the agricultural program, you either have to be a qualified farmer by the IRS definition, or have a qualified farmer that's leasing your land. Fundamentally.
Okay, let's stick with woods.
Yeah.
I get a feeling this would go weedy really fast. Okay, Alan, just the woods, please.
Okay, just the woods, man. So to get in the forest land program, first of all, you need to have a forest management plan and a forest management map, of which I have an example here.
That's what this thing is.
Of the property we're on right now. The map, as you can see, takes the land and cuts it up into all kinds of different areas. For this particular property, my shadow's in the way.
I see
the brand speckled is ag land that's enrolled in the ag program. The white areas are forest areas, and they're separated into different stands, areas of trees that are either similar in species or age composition.
All right, we're going to leave it at that.
Okay.
So I know there's a lot more to that.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, so I've enrolled in the program before September.
September 1st.
Do I have to pay to do this?
You have to pay a $90 application fee, yes.
And then they say, okay, you're officially in the program.
So by October 1st, you have to have your forest management plan written and the forest management plan prepared.
And I can't do that myself.
I mean, they actually do allow landowners to do it themselves.
Okay.
But it involves some complicated measurement statistics, and you have to understand good forestry standards and things like that. So unless you had some background in forestry, of course, I'm biased here, but I would recommend
you probably just should do full disclosure.
Full disclosure, I'm a licensed professional forester, and I do this for a living. So,
okay. So I would hire you.
Yes.
And then you would come out and you would begin.
So we would do
obviously walking the land.
We would do an inventory. Basically, we like for here, we took a sample point once every 330 feet.
Got it.
And at that point, we would collect information on the diameter of the trees, the species, their health. Sure. A forest is a very complicated thing, and you have to basically model what the what the characteristics of that forest is through statistics. And then based on those statistics, you would say, well, in 3 years, we have to go in and do a single tree and small selection harvest to bring the stocking down.
Okay.
And then following that, 20 years, we're going to do the same thing. This is going to be an active forest management program. You can't just draw a line around a forest area and say, oh, I'm not going to do anything.
Got it.
Part of the contract with the people of the state of Vermont when this program was created was that these landowners can get this tax equity. It's important to know that the state actually reimburses the town for the difference. So there is a cost to the taxpayers. So the taxpayers are paying into this program. What they're going to get in return is economic benefits of people logging and producing forest products, manufacturing forest products, that type of thing, or agricultural products. So it's a conservation program, but it also has that economic component.
So I get two things. I get cool tax breaks, and then obviously over the years, logging companies come in, log, and pay me for the logs they took out.
Correct. Yeah. You're also doing the right thing in terms of stewardship with your forest.
Right. I'm sorry I left that out.
You're taking care of it. You're increasing diversity and resiliency, probably helping wildlife habitat and other things like that.
Okay.
The strings that are attached.
The strings.
Probably the first and foremost that people need to understand, and this sends people running sometimes right off the bat, is that once you're accepted into the program, the state of Vermont places a lien on your property that's recorded in the town office. It's called the land use change tax, but it's actually, just a penalty that you would have to pay if you either subdivided your land in a parcel smaller than 25 acres, developed it, or cut your forest contrary to your forest management plan.
Got it.
So any three of those things could invoke that penalty.
Are there any other cons that you can think of?
Well, so the lien is the big one. You have to update your forest management plan every 10 years.
And what is that on average cost for me to do?
I
guess it depends how much land, right?
Yes, it depends how much land you have, how much, like we charge everything sort of time and material, so it just depends on how much time it takes.
So we could do a range. So the minimum you got to have is 25 acres?
25 acres.
So,
and you have to exclude 2 acres for any dwelling.
Gotcha. So if you have a house, it's not included.
Right.
Okay.
So if you have a house on the property, you'd have to have a minimum of 27 acres.
To renew that plan would probably be about $1,500, $2,000, $10,000. Where are we at there? Does it depend if it's steep? Is that what you're saying?
What's
If you have to walk harder, are you going to charge me more?
No, and there are value variables like the topography just for getting around. I guess one way I could say at Haas is that generally for our clients, we see that the payback on that investment in the forest management plan and map is paid back in the first year of savings.
Wow. Okay. Got it.
You have to have a forester. You have to have a forest management plan. You have to update it every 10 years. When you do a harvest, you have to report on your income from that harvest, both to the Department of Forest and Parks and the Department of Taxes.
Very nice.
So you have the state involved,
right,
as a partner.
And if you sell it, The lien goes with it.
The lien transfers with the property.
And I got one more question. And if I give it to my children on my death, the lien goes to my children?
Yes, as long as you don't subdivide it. Yeah.
And if I want to get out of this program because, I don't know why.
So if you want to get out of the program completely, cut all the strings,
Yeah.
you basically have to pay that land use change tax on the whole property to get out.
Okay.
If you just say, I'm sick of dealing with Alan and all these complicated statistics and forest management and stuff.
And his maps never look good.
Hey.
Go ahead. And
Wait a minute. And all that, you can actually withdraw from the program without any penalty. The lien still remains.
Got it.
So you cannot subdivide, develop, or cut contrary to your forest management plan. I know that's a little quirky, but it's actually how it works.
Okay. So before I ask you the question that's always nagged me about this program.
The nagging question.
The nagging question. For people out there who want to get in this program, where do they go? How do they begin? Who do they call?
That's important. Yeah, the probably the best place to get information right off the bat, I would advise going to the Vermont Department of Forest, Parks, and Recreation website. You'll find information about the program, and you can also find out how to contact your local county forester, who can come out at no cost and talk to you about your land and the program and kind of fill in a lot of the holes maybe that we left in our quick, but
it was quick, but it was good.
Perfect overview.
I know. I think it was well done. They may ask you to lecture around the state now.
It's likely.
All right. So my question. This is always every year I save a chunk of my tax bill for being in this program.
Yeah.
And you're right to pay to stay in the program. It's minuscule compared to what I get back. So as this state slowly seems to be emptying out of people, my theory is that this program, even though we love it and we all know the good reasons why it was started, I have this feeling that we as taxpayers are just not going to be able to afford people like me who keep getting a tax break every year because they're in this program. I don't see it as sustainable. In fact, tell me why I'm wrong about that.
I think you're wrong, Haas.
Okay, thanks. See you next time, folks.
And so I don't believe I put this figure out there before, but right now the state of Vermont, it costs the state of Vermont about $50 million a year, and that money goes to reimbursing the town. So towns don't lose out on their grand list if people enroll in this program, and that's really important, obviously. But I think you're wrong because first and foremost, the landscape of this state is very, very, very important to things like tourism.
Right.
You know, people come here because of our beautiful green mountains, and they come to recreate here as well on these lands. Also, the program is really crucial to sustaining our agricultural industry, which is also iconic and a very important part of Vermont. And as you know, right now, farmers are struggling, dairy farmers are struggling with the low price for milk. But if that tax burden, you know, was set back at that full fair market value, you know, a lot of farmers would go under even more quicker than what's happening today. And the same is true for people who own land, timberland, either as an investment or as a part of their farm or as a part of the land they own.
Do you feel that you pay, your taxes are too high right now?
Even with the current use program?
Well, not even being in the current use program. I mean, I guess my biggest thing is
we said we'd stay away from the whole issue of the fact that Vermont's educational funding.
Oh no, we're not going to touch that.
Goes completely on the backs of property owners.
Let's just go back to my point. Was I feel like as the population declines, if we don't stop the decline, then there's going to be fewer and fewer of us, and then that 50 million that people save in taxes because they're in current use,
Becomes a bigger number.
I feel like that becomes a number they look at and goes, that would fix our bridges.
Right.
I mean, you don't feel that there could be this pressure in the future just from that factor alone. Like, where do you break when the taxes get too
Well,
high
I
because there's
I
500,000 people in the state now?
I think honestly, Haas, every time there's a severe deficit situation in Montpelier, people who depend on the current use program for their businesses or parts of their livelihood get concerned because the number does come up quickly, and when the sharp pencils come out, people look at it.
So we really need more people. That's my opinion, is that we really need more people. You need to have more babies.
That's not going to happen.
I think we're going to have to leave it at that, folks.
Next episode.
Alan, thanks for being with us
Hey,
again.
Haas, good to see you, man.
Okay. Haas, GNAT News, later.